The man, hailed as an anti-establishment publisher who exposed the United States government and its dealing with other countries, could face torture if he ever makes it back to the United States. The United Kingdom court ruled that WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange can be extradited to the United States to face criminal charges. Assange spent 7 years sheltered in an Ecuadorian embassy in London, and now he's in a maximum security prison, reportedly in very poor health. The United States accuses Assange of 18 counts of conspiring to hack into government databases and leaking confidential records they say put lives in danger. Now, some of the biggest revelations from WikiLeaks have been the U.S. Army manual for Guantanamo prisoners, the 2016 emails showing the DNC favored Hillary Clinton over Bernie Sanders, and in 2010, he leaked hundreds of thousands of classified documents showing the United States conducted secret drone strikes in Yemen, revealing information on civilian deaths in Afghanistan and Iraq, and the hunt for Osama bin Laden. Video was published of a 2007 U.S. helicopter attack in Baghdad that killed civilians, including Reuters journalists. China is using the United States' handling of the case to call out double standards and hypocrisy in U.S. dealings. Secretary of State Antony Blinken recently called on Hong Kong authorities to release detainees of an anti-government website. Here's how the Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson responded.
美国政府如果不惧怕真相且自信
If the U.S. government is unafraid of the truth and is confident, why is it pursuing the extradition of Julian Assange? Why didn't it treat Edward Snowden like a whistleblower? The U.S. should abandon hypocrisy and double standards and stop interfering in China's internal affairs in the name of freedom.
Joining me now is Julian's brother and biggest advocate, Gabriel Shipton. Welcome to The World Tonight, Gabriel. You mentioned the last time you spoke with your brother was about 2 years ago while he was in prison. How is his health?
Yeah, Julian's health has been deteriorating since he has been in prison. It's his third year now in Belmarsh Maximum Security Prison. In October last year, we found out that he actually had a mini stroke. So this was a stress-induced stroke that he had. So it's getting worse and worse, his health, and we live in fear that every day that there might be his last day in there, that he might just crumble under the pressure.
Legally, in any country, has he been charged with any crime while being detained?
No, so other than the US indictment, he has not been charged with any crime. So he has been held, he's a remand prisoner, so he's an innocent man. He's been held in the prison solely at the request of the Biden DOJ. So the Biden DOJ could drop this at any time, and Julian could walk free.
Now, what is a concern about having him come and deal with the court of law in the United States and be heard in a public courtroom?
Well, I think the magistrate, the lower court magistrate in the UK, found that Julian's current health and the prison conditions in the US would mean his extradition would be basically a death sentence for him. So that is our concern, that if he is extradited, that he will die in the US prison system. We know that the US prison system can't keep their prisoners safe. Even the most high-profile prisoners have, committed suicide in US prisons. So we're very, very fearful that will happen to Julian. He's very unlikely to have a fair trial in the US if he is extradited.
When the WikiLeaks broke, it rattled the world because it revealed what is considered classified, but ultimately was secret dealings of the United States. Has your brother Julian spoken about whether or not what he's experiencing now was worth the risk of all that exposure?
Yeah, I think Julian is a very, very principled man. He is a fighter of injustice everywhere. He exposed injustice, so I think he is he doesn't have any regrets of exposing these crimes, this corruption. There are people who are much worse off than he that have, now lead better lives because of these things that he's published.
The counterpoint from the U.S. government is that many of the assets they had been working with around the world, their names were published, and they were in these dictatorial, autocratic countries. Those people suffered as a result of this exposure. So what is the balance between the need for transparency, yet also the need for safety and protection?
Well, Julian worked very hard to redact names. He invented software to redact names in these articles and publishings. The US DOJ has actually admitted in court that nobody was harmed from these releases. So I think, journalists all over the world, they work to redact names, and Julian did the same thing. So I think, and the US has admitted that no one was harmed. So I think that sort of puts that to rest in that way.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, that's in official court records. Also in the court records is a petition that was filed this past week. So bring us up to speed on what Julian's case is at right now.
So on Monday at 10:45, the UK High Court will rule whether to allow an appeal from Julian's legal team to go to the Supreme Court in the UK. If that appeal is rejected, then the extradition order will go to the UK Secretary of State to be signed, and the extradition will proceed. So really, it is likely that the extradition will proceed and that Julian will be in the USA imminently. I've been calling on Congress people and people on the ground in the US that they can no longer ignore this case and no longer rely on the UK courts to not extradite Julian. His extradition is imminent, and he will be extradited to the USA, and the proceedings will start in the USA very imminently, I believe.
Mm-hmm. As you mentioned, you expect him to be in the United States. What recourse, what protection do you think he will be able to receive or have here once he makes it back to U.S. soil?
Well, we hope that he gets First Amendment protections under the U.S. Constitution, and that he's held in, decent prison conditions. That's all we can hope for. But really, the Biden administration could drop this at any time. The Biden DOJ could drop this case at any time. Back in October, there was 25 press freedom and civil liberties groups, including the ACLU, Human Rights Watch, who called on Merrick Garland to drop this case because of the threats that it poses to press freedom. So really, those are the sort of, the civil liberties groups, the press freedom groups, they're all protecting Julian. So we would ask people to call on their Congress people to also come to Julian's aid, and also their aid, because this is about press freedoms in the US. It's not just about Julian, it's about everybody's rights, their right to know what the governments and elected officials are doing in their name.
And there's so much in the conversation about drones, about war crimes that would not have been known absent WikiLeaks. Gabriel Shipton, he's Julian Assange's brother and a film producer at the Shipton House. Thank you for joining us and for sharing, highlighting your brother's case.